So we got a little bit of content here. Path of Exile 2. Here we go.
I'm just going to show you another island, I guess.
What class is this?
This is the warrior.
Okay.
This is your sort of like quintessential slamming guy.
Slamming guy.
And I'll show you
like
a few of the interactions between the different...
Do I dare say the other game, is it similar to a B-word character?
I mean, I guess.
Barber?
I guess so, but it's
barber.
an area we haven't shown much. Maybe Journey's End. Here we go. Let's have a look at Journey's End.
A berserker?
I'm not sure what's,
Yeah,
sort of
berserker.
appeared on streams and things like that, and what hasn't. So,
Oh, no.
anyway, so
All right, let's see this.
right, so
Animations are nice.
I guess one of the things we really want to make sure of with the warrior is that all of our melee skills kind of have a lot of mobility. So it's kind of like a basic attack. You've got like this kind of thing. Like in PoE 1, this would be like stand and do something. In PoE 2, it involves a lot of mobility. And the other thing, of course, is just like we were talking about on the druid, is all the combo type stuff. So on the warrior, one of the really nice combos to use is armor break. So what I can do here is when I hit monsters with armor break, it breaks their armor. But then that is used when you... sorry, I managed to run away from that guy. When you... and so when you attack them with their armor, obviously you're going to do a lot more damage. That's like really like the simplest level. And then the other thing that you can do is that some of the other skills that we have things that affect armor breaks. They often remove armor break and do something else. So this guy has armor broken right now, and then if I use leap slam, okay, somehow I managed to not trigger that. There's a very high chance to do a heavy stun. Apparently, though, that didn't seem to work for that guy, so I don't know what happened there. But yeah, there's a very high chance to heavy stun. There we go. And
cool.
that means that you can follow up with something that's much more slow. So an example of that kind of thing is we have a thing called Supercharged Slam, which lets you gather a bunch of rocks on your weapon and slam them. So if you just use it like for a short amount of time, you get like 2.
Oh, that was fucking badass.
Slams. But the longer you hold it down, the more rocks gather up until eventually you can do like a ridiculous number of slams.
That is, yeah, that's really cool. The other stuff, it's like, it's all right. You know, the double slam is cool, but that is fucking awesome.
So you want to be able to try and stun monsters, ideally, to be able to get that. So getting that, getting the leap slam, and then getting the supercharged slam is a good way to kill monsters. It probably wasn't worthwhile in these like random white monsters.
Especially like in PoE, because like if it's anything like PoE 1, you have like a lot of transitionary periods, right? Like, you know, you're waiting for Cirrus to come down. You're waiting for the Maven Brain to come in. You're waiting for, I don't know, you know, one of the fucking... like Baran or, you know, Alhazmin or whatever, Veritania, to like, you know, spawn in and like then you hit him, you know, like that's actually so good.
But on a rare, it matters a lot. The other thing you can do is Sunder. So if you Sunder on an armor broken enemy, so I'll just talk about, so Sunder when you normally use it, basically it's a very slow attack that does this like attacks
cool.
on a line. And it's actually most useful when you have lots of monsters, because every time it hits a monster, it does a little ripple of damage. So if you use it on one monster, it's actually quite weak. But if you use it on a whole pack of monsters, then because the damage overlaps between each everything, we'll just gather
so it's like a built-in herald.
It absolutely annihilates them.
That's cool.
And so this is a useful interaction.
Looks like that's like built-in herald of Ash.
If you armor break one of the monsters, then Sunder does 500% damage to that monster. And also, it does 500% damage to all the monsters that get, like, from the little wave from those monsters as well. So that means that Armor Break Sunder can be a really useful way to do that. Another one we have here is a Warcry skill, so I'm going to use Infernal Cry. So Infernal Cry puts this little thing on the monsters, and then when you kill them, it causes them to explode, dealing damage to nearby monsters. So it's another kind of good pack clearer. But the other thing that it does is it gives you an exerted attack, which means that your next slam skill is going to do a lot of extra fire damage. So a good thing to do is to armor break the monster, get the leap slam on that monster to stun them, although apparently once again that monster seems to be broken in this regard, which is very annoying.
Okay, so is that like a boss? Is the green boy a boss or what?
Get the leap slam on the monster. And then do the yell to get the exert, and then do the supercharged slam to get a lot of damage on them.
That was cool.
So that kind of combo is what you'd be wanting to use if you're fighting a boss, and it's something that can really...
I can't wait to make a build with like 5,000% AoE and 5,000% AoE damage and 200% casting speed, where I just spam the big, you know, charge slam over and over and over, and it just clears the entire screen. Yeah, that's going to
really
be
help.
fucking awesome.
So yeah,
damage.
yeah, exactly. So you've got to, I guess a philosophy you would say in PoE too is that you really have to earn your single target damage. It's not just a question of like, here's a single target skill, just use it.
Okay.
You really have to like earn that single target by doing a combination of things. And if you do that, you'll be rewarded by getting a lot more damage in a situation like that. So yeah, that's sort of some of the stuff you can do on the Marauder. Sorry, not Marauder. The Warrior. I've got 2 classes for each of the combinations, and yeah, hopefully that's very interesting. One of the things that I like the most is
I would say the Warrior looked okay. I mean, I'll be curious to see how the combo abilities really work and everything, but yeah, I mean, that looks pretty cool. Like, I would say the you know, like the gameplay was a little bit clunky for sure, but in terms of like the skills and the way that they, like the philosophy behind them and even the way they looked, I think it was pretty good. I think you can expect to see improvements there. You seen Druid yet? No, we'll look at Druid after this.
On the Huntress is a skill called Whirling Slash. So the design of this is basically, this is just a little town area, so I can just practice here without any monsters attacking me. But when you use this, it creates this little like whirling storm around you. And the more you use it, the larger the storm gets. And when you exit the storm, it explodes. So
cool.
it's kind of like a really nice single target, sorry, not single target, it's a really nice area of effect thing that you can use to kill a whole bunch of monsters. So that's kind of like a non-obvious one as well. So like I can use Dodge Roll to get out of it, but there's actually more things you can use. For example, if I use this here, I've got a skill here which like makes your character run like maybe you didn't quite see that, like do like a slash back, and which also traps monsters. So you want to kind of like Whirling Slash, and then get out of there with that one. And then once you're out of there, then you can start throwing the your spears from range. So another one that's really useful for...
I think having ability combos is going to be super important. And the reason why, it's because like they're going to... I think PoE 2 is going to have a lot more focus on single target encounters. Like individual single target encounters.
Huntress is the spear field. So when you use this, probably not that useful against zombies because they move so slowly anyway. But you create a field of spears and they slow down monsters. So if you've got a lot of fast monsters around, then that's a really handy one. And then the other one that's kind of useful is Puncture. So Puncture can be useful for moving from one pack to the other. If I make this thing here, well, there's no other monsters nearby, so that's unfortunate. But effectively, it's a skill that lets you teleport towards monsters like this. And the further away you are when you use it, the more that you're going to bleed. The more that you're going to bleed them. So it can be quite handy to use, depending on the situation. So maybe if I'll sort of do this. So I'm going to create a Whirling Slash here. Okay. I'm going to go out of there, it traps them in. But I can go back...
Bro, that thing did a lot of damage. What the fuck? Look at this.
So I'm going to create a Whirling Slash here. I'm going to go out of there, it traps them in. But I can go back in with the Puncture to bleed. And then follow up with my like more single target Rapid Assault skill, which has a nice ending damage thing there. So this
I'm going to be really curious to see what this game is like whenever you play... One difficulty, stop build that kills mobs before you see them. Yeah, like what is this gonna play like at like level 83? What about 93, right? Is it still gonna be PoE 1 zooming? Or like how are you gonna counteract that? I'm really curious about that.
Moving pretty fast, so I'll use Spear Field to slow them down a little bit. And then I can pre-prepare my...
Is this dev play? I think, I don't know.
And then maybe like get them back like this, and then go back into the Puncture, this kind of thing. So there's a lot of mobility to combat that you can achieve if you kind of know what you're doing, which I honestly don't really that much compared to some people on the team.
Yeah.
So I haven't done too much practice on this class. But the skill ceiling for PoE 2 can be quite a lot higher because of the fact that there's a lot more to the sort of action combat stuff that you...
I really like, I mean, I feel like we've already seen nearly as many mobs in PoE 2 as there are in Diablo 4. Just based off of the alpha and like the pre-alpha. It's really nice to see.
So we only put like a few skills in there, and this is also Act 2, so you don't have that many more skills compared to what you would have later on. But I guess that's it there, just sort of enough to show you, like at least some of the basic stuff that you can do as a Huntress. We do have a lot of other like elemental spear attacks, like we've got a lot of different throws. But this class, what it's kind of really about is sort of going into and out of combat a lot. You know, like you charge in, you jump out, like this kind of thing. You know, like and then you've got stuff that you can do from range. You've got stuff you can do from close. It's really about exploring that that sort of in and out kind of thing that it's got going on. Yeah, that's kind of the main thing that Huntress is about.
I'm glad to see PoE being much more aggressive with their advertising too, and like how much outreach they've had to like these different conventions and like different places. It's really awesome for me to see this. Here's the video right here. It's actually an IGN video. Yeah, this is fucking amazing. Path of Exile 2, Gamescom Druid gameplay. All right, here we go. I'm actually kind of excited to see what this is going to be. And you know what? You can't complain about 17 damage in this game because damage numbers aren't shown. Problem solved. Okay. This looks pretty cool. Okay. Cool.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Rogers, one of the game directors on Path of Exile 2. In Path of Exile 2, you can pick from one of 12 character classes. Each character has a combination of primary attributes that they focus on. Today, we'd like to show off a character who specializes in strength and intelligence, the Druid. In human form, the Druid is a spellcaster who channels the fury of nature on the battlefield, a walking natural disaster.
Wait, well, I don't know how this works, though. Like, don't you have to, like, use a basic attack, a generator, to, like, build up to cast? I mean, because you can't, it's not like you should just be able to just cast a spell, right? I mean, like, what the fuck?
But get up close and you'll find out why the Druid also focuses on strength. You can transform yourself into one of several wild beasts. Today, we want to show off the bear form. Transformation in PoE 2 happens automatically when you use a bear attack.
I'm really impressed by these animations. Oh, like, look at this animation. This animation's so good.
Transformation in PoE 2 happens automatically when
That's so clean, man. Like, wow.
you use a bear attack. Use Bear Maul and your character will transform into a bear, into a meaty swing.
Smart.
Use a spell and your character transforms back into a human and casts it.
Yep.
Hitting enemies with the Bear's Maul attack will build up rage, which increases your attack damage. So your bear gets stronger with every attack. You can see the glowing runes that indicate rage on your back.
Ooh, alright, that guy looks pretty cool.
Have a lot of weak enemies to take out? This is where you probably want to break out your Rampage.
Okay.
Let out a roar and stampede over all enemies in your path.
So we want a Druid build that has perma Rampage up with max AoE damage and then just a lot of AoE radius. And so then you just run through with Rampage and it's like Cocaine Bear the game. Yeah, this seems pretty good. I like this.
Slamming the ground with your paws. The initial roar generates rage, and then the rage is consumed as you charge along.
No, auto bear.
You can use Rampage by itself to travel a short distance, or do some mauling first to build up some rage and travel a significant distance.
I really like the detail and the look of those monsters. Like, I really think this looks impressive and great. I think this is awesome. Like, wow. This detail, yeah, this is really cool.
Now,
and there's even, like, individual, like, disparities between each one of them. Like, for example, the goblin, I don't think there is a goblin on the other one. Yeah, no, there's not. So, like, even the individual NPCs have different variations. This is a free game, by the way.
Big and strong, this isn't a pure strength class. You don't have as much armor as a warrior would have.
Yeah, because they're not as good as a warrior.
To protect itself from larger packs, you might want to consider a skill like Furious Slam. This skill is all about stunning rather than damage, so it's quite useful if you're mobbed by smaller monsters and just need to get out of there. Of course, like any PoE 2...
Dude, I can't wait to fucking, like, just... I want to see what these builds look like at in-game, man. I'm so excited to see, like, what the uniques are and everything.
Character,
this is gonna be so cool.
Always use a dodge roll to get out of danger, since the bear is the slowest of the druid's forms.
Yeah,
making sure the dodge feels reliable and can get you out of any situation is paramount. When you dodge an animal form, your character instantly transforms back with no time penalty, so that you can get out of the way. You can even interrupt a mistimed transformation halfway through. Of course, doing this will mean you pay the slight time cost of having to transform back again.
Sure.
It's certainly a lot better than dying. Something interesting about the skill is that it's faster to use if you're already standing up. If you're on all fours when you use Furious Slam, then the bear has to stand up first before slamming back down. But use Maul first and the bear will stand up as you swing, which has no time penalty. Then follow up with...
That's really sharp. I think that might be probably the most impressive thing that I've seen so far. Like animation optimization. I think that's the most impressive thing. Like, holy fuck, man.
Furious slam and your bear will quickly slam down. Much more efficient.
Holy shit. When am I gonna get to play this?
Next up, I want to talk about Ferocious Roar.
2 years? Yeah.
Ferocious Roar is a bear meta skill gem. It allows you to take any Warcry skill that another class like the Warrior might use and allow you to use it as a bear.
That's cool.
I'm going to take the Seismic Cry gem and socket it into Ferocious Roar. You can actually socket more than one Warcry and use them all together, but let's just stick to one for now.
He mentioned there will be more animals, didn't he? Yes, he did. He says we're going to show the bear form this time. I don't think that, like, maybe they might add, like, I want to have a, whenever they add a Bahamut, you know, the form. I think that maybe it's like unique that you get from like the labyrinth or something like that, or you have to kill Shaper. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Seismic Cry pushes enemies back and has some stun chance.
Okay.
But the reason we want to use it is for a mechanic called Exerted Attacks. If there are any heavily stunned enemies in range of the Warcry, then your next slam skill will be powered to do double the number of slams. First, I use Furious Slam to stun these enemies. Next, I follow up with Seismic Cry and get the Exerted Attack. And then I slam again. See how 2 slams triggered? So, that's all well and good, but how about we try that again using Rampage?
Okay, let's see it.
First, get a bit of rage. Slam to stun the enemies, Seismic Cry to get the exert, and then Rampage around.
Oh, bro, he's just running over him.
So we've covered some of the bear side of the druid, but how is he as a spellcaster? Now, of course, we want to maximize the amount of time you spend in your animal forms. So most of the spells targeted at the druid tend to be things that last a long time or provide tactical options on the battlefield.
Sure.
The first and probably simplest of these is Lightning Storm. Cast it on the ground and you get an area where monsters are continuously struck
Hurricane.
by bolts of lightning. The bolts don't do much damage, but they shock monsters,
Right.
which is a debuff that
Yeah.
increases all damage on them, meaning it's a great spell to use before going in as a bear.
It's called Lightning
So,
Storm,
that's going
guys.
to increase your damage, but as I mentioned before, the bear form of the druid could use some defenses as well. The
Right.
bear in particular is the slowest attacking of the druid's forms. He hits hard, but if he gets swarmed too much, it will result in your death. That's why Tornado is so useful. Tornadoes suck.
I've always liked the aesthetic of bears having really high thorns. Like, their defense is like, you know, for example, like every enemy takes a certain amount of damage if they attack you. I think bears with thorns would be really cool. I hope they have a feature like that.
Monsters in, allowing you to split up packs
Druid
and deal
War?
with groups
Yeah.
separately, or pin monsters in place and set up combos with your other skills.
Like armor conversion
Tornado
to
doesn't
thorns,
really
shit
move
like
big
that.
monsters much, so you can actually use it to separate a boss from its minions too. The druid also has the ability to summon animal companions. This is another really useful defense because wolves can take aggro from you, keeping monsters away. In addition, the wolves howl as they are summoned, putting a temporary debuff on enemies that makes them more vulnerable to critical strikes, and giving you a reason to resummon them in combat.
That's crazy.
The last druid spell we're going to talk about.
So the wolves actually, so they have like an AI that works and they attack the mobs that you attack. And they actually do, like, they have a functional important value that improves the play. And this is all like base game stuff. That is so cool.
Today is Volcano. You can cast it quickly like this and it will spawn just a few projectiles. Or you can hold down the button to channel it for longer, which will make it fire a whole bunch of projectiles when it spawns, doing a lot more damage. The Volcano sticks around firing its little projectiles for a long time, so it's another good skill to cast before turning into a bear.
Okay,
Now,
cool.
the reason you're going to want to turn into a bear after using Volcano is that any slam near the Volcano results in it spewing out even more projectiles.
You know what the funny thing about that is? Is that makes sense. Yeah, it just makes sense. Of course. What's the catch? How much for the DLC and the wolf AI? I mean, like, to be fair, I have bought one of the $560 creator packs or supporter packs. I have bought one before. And the reason why I bought it is because it had a hoodie included, and I really wanted the hoodie. And I was like, well, you know, I'll still get the extra stuff in the game. And I don't regret it. I've spent over $1,000 on PoE. It's kind of sad. It is. I'm not sorry. You know why? It's because it seems like my money's been going to good use. You know? I feel like, you know, my money's going towards something that's pretty good. Yeah.
And if you thought that was a lot, then Rampage is even better, because it does 2 slams every time it hits the ground. And you can run around the volcano.
Jesus. Oh my god, Worth, this game looks amazing. Hey. You're welcome, boys. I'll be buying another one next league, or if I play this league.
Now, if you've been paying
I'll
attention,
buy another
you might
one.
have realized that this is going to be extra good with Seismic Cry, which we were using earlier to double the number of slams. So, first we're going to cast Volcano. Then Furious Slam till you stun something, Seismic Cry to get the double slams, then Rampage around while the Volcano spews out a stupid number of projectiles.
Bro, that guy just got fucked up. Look at that.
Seismic Cry to get the double slams,
Bro,
then
he just got
Rampage around while the
destroyed.
Volcano spews out a stupid number of projectiles. This combo would have been even better if we'd remembered to cast our Lightning Storm first, but getting time for that seems tricky. It would also have been nice if the monsters were affected by the crit debuff that my wolves do when I first summon them.
True.
This is where some meta gems to automate some elements can come in handy. Here's a gem called Cast While Channeling. If we add Lightning Storm to the skill, we can cast it automatically while we channel a volcano as we set up our combo. Cast While Channeling is an ongoing effect, so enabling the skill will cost us Spirit, which is a new resource in PoE 2 used specifically for these kinds of skills. If you look at the top left of the screen as we channel, we can see the energy building up to cast the Lightning Storm.
I see.
So long as we channel Volcano for long enough...
Oh, yeah, they showed that one. Here, I'll move it down so you guys can see. I know this might be weird for some people that play other ARPGs, but this is called a debuff list. And so what this shows is the effects, status effects that are currently affecting your character that will change the way that your character behaves or receives damage or takes damage. And this right here is like a percentage. And once this percentage is at 100%, it casts the cast while channeling or the cast on crit one. They showed this on the first demo. They did this at ExileCon.
Storm will also be cast on the same
How many devs did it come with the debuff bar? Probably like at least 7,000.
Cast While Channeling is active in reserving Spirit in both our human and bear forms. This means that any channeling skills we use as a bear technically will also cast the Lightning
visual effect.
We can actually do this with Rampage right now.
Yes.
But it's not the best because we would prefer to stack the Lightning Storm on top of our Volcano.
Bleed doesn't have a visual effect as far as I know, or it's hard to see.
We're also unnecessarily reserving Spirit in our bear form we could be using for something else. So let's fix that. I'm going to go into the skill options for the skill and disable it in my bear form. We showed at ExileCon how you could use skill options to control which weapon set to use when casting skills.
That's right.
But you can also use the same interface to enable or disable which buffs you'd like to have active in your different weapon sets too, without having to recast them all the time. And shapeshifting counts as a weapon set. Now when I change to a bear, the effect and the spirit reservation goes away, and when I change back to a human again, it's back automatically.
Oh wow.
So, now that we have some extra spirit available as a bear, why don't we make our life a little bit easier by automating one of our other skills?
I like the sound of this.
Melee Stun meta gem. I'm going to put Summon Wolf in Cast on Melee Stun, so that whenever I stun...
Oh, dude, I think I might be playing a druid.
...a sufficient number of enemies while I'm a bear, it will summon another wolf. This is great, because usually when I'm stunning, it's because I'm about to do my exerted attack slam combo. When wolves come out, they howl, adding the crit debuff to the monsters, right when I need it. It also helps keep my wolves alive and summoned at all times without me having to do it manually.
That's smart.
So, Last but not least, let's talk about the skill tree. At ExileCon, we showed how you could dual spec your character so that different weapons can use different passives. Well, as I said before, the bear form counts as another weapon set for specialization purposes, so he gets a tree
is this
too.
a boss?
If I open my passive tree, you can see how I'm near a melee damage cluster and a spell damage cluster.
Ooh.
By holding shift, I can allocate these passives in my human form, and these ones as a bear. Now,
oh, I can see with the different colors. I know you guys are gonna be like, this is really complicated. It's a lot. It is a lot. It is really complicated, but you will learn it faster than you might imagine. Yeah, you will learn it. It's not as complicated as you think it is, and it is simultaneously even more complicated than you could imagine initially.
when I change between human and bear form, my passives reallocate automatically. So, here we are at the Blind Beast. The goblins have enslaved a huge behemoth and gouged out its eyes. Now they're sending it in to fight you while they watch.
Looking up the correct timeless jewel with the correct passive effects. Okay, alright. Okay, so he does a slam. Alright. He's just a big dumb idiot. Wait a second, is that a stagger bar? Yo, guys, look at the top. I think that is this the first time we're seeing the stagger bar? Holy fuck! I remember I complained about that. From Sekiro now? No, Lost Ark added that. I think it's great. Oh, wow. Oh, did you guys see that? He doesn't just have like a thing. He shakes his head after he gets done being staggered. Look at this. Watch. Oh, shit. Bro, now he's dropping a volcano on him? And there's gonna be 90 of these bosses, is that right? Am I remembering the number correctly? 90? 100. Oh my god. You guys are trying to showcase his skills, you could nuke this guy? Yeah, easily. Dude, imagine dropping like 3 volcanoes and then just doing the slam over and over. The girlfriend is executed super well. Yeah, it's great. Damn.
Your suffering ends here. Shameful.
And there we have it. With a little bit of customization, we have a build that can combine many different active skills to do some really interesting effects.
That's fucking cool.
At the same time, your skill tree reconfigures automatically at the right time, and your buffs reconfigure automatically as well. You can even cast certain skills automatically. But we also haven't lost...
I like how PoE said, like, oh, well, you know, one of the main complaints with PoE 1 is the skill tree is really complicated. They're like, yeah, we know, we're doubling it. That's why it's called Path of Exile 2. You've got 2 skill trees now. One for human form and one for bear form. Yeah.
The dynamics of combat. Many skills interact with each other, and the ones you choose to use at any different moment depend a lot on what enemies you face or what situation you're in right at this moment. And at just the right time, you might be able to combine all your skills in one crazy combo. Get some satisfying screen-covering spam, and do some crazy damage. Now, these are just some of the skills targeted at the Druid in PoE 2. We didn't even show you the Wolf form yet. There's a lot more to play and experience, and we look forward to letting you guys try it out when we go into beta on June 7th, 2024.
Man, they must be pretty sure if they're saying it's this exact day, dude. Dude, I can't wait to play this. Do a bear roll. That would be cool. Yeah, do a bear roll. Schools dev actually knows different mechanics and combinations. Don't just use basic attacks. Yeah, because it would have been kind of boring, right? If they just like went around spamming like the auto attack the whole time. Yeah, that would have been kind of weird. You know? Let me link you guys a video. You missed the bear roll? Did I?
You might be able to combine all your skills in one crazy combo. Get some satisfying screen covering spam, and do some crazy damage. Now, these are just some of the skills targeted at the Druid in PoE 2. We didn't even show you the wolf form yet.
I didn't even realize that.
These are just some of the skills targeted at the Druid in PoE 2. We didn't even show you the wolf form yet. Show you the wolf form yet.
Oh my god. And it's really good too. Like, it's actually such a good animation. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck, dude? This is so cool. Here, I'll link it to you guys. This is actually from the official PoE channel. If you guys want to subscribe to them to keep up with all the PoE 2 news, in case I don't watch it before you do. Holy shit, man. That's... Imagine if that bear has iframes too. Yeah. Dude, this is so cool. Like, I mean, you guys were right. The Druid one is just so... Like... I feel like the most impressive thing to me is the fact that the animation, like if the bear is standing up, it does the cast faster. That to me is so fucking impressive. Because I know how many games would have the bear go up and then go, whoa. Like, that's guaranteed. What, like 99% of other games would have. Dude, this is fucking amazing. What are the comments? It's just unbelievable. It looks insanely cool. Yeah. UI now has a stagger bar. Yeah, remember that? We talked about that a lot. That's awesome. Mention insanely detailed environment interaction. Yeah, dude, the volcano thing. Oh my god, really like all the skill comboing and the synergy. Yeah, it's like playing a druid is like playing like multiple characters in Genshin Impact or one of those like element games, you know? This is fucking awesome. I'm liking the direction PoE 2 is taking, where they want you to combo together and mechanically outplay bosses as opposed to just overwhelming enemies. Yeah, I'll be curious to see what happens in endgame, but I feel like it's still going to be the same. How do they do it so quick? Doesn't it take a season to add stuff? No, only if it's a search bar. It takes a season. Yeah.